Dave's chosen. Robert was saying to me, came to the UK about 1830 to 50. Plant hunters were right.
Was being planted.
So this is a lot ago. And apparently, now I don't understand this, but the oldest tree in Britain is 65 feet high. It grows usually to about 25 to 40 metres. And the trunk diameter is about 2 to 3 metres. The oldest known tree is 1,620 years old. And it loses its leaves in winter, so it's also called the bald cypress.
Yes.
Yeah.
This has knees. They're called knees. So the mature tree will develop these peculiar upstanding post-like things from the roots. And the story is, the one theory was that this was to help it breathe in swampy waters, but they don't think that's true anymore. They actually think it's more to do with buttressing. It's to do with stabilising the tree. So it's quite shallow and quite soft. Shallow roots with soft ground, so it's inclined, so they buttress themselves somehow.
It actually,
Clouds moving fast.
What was that?
Clouds, how they're moving so fast.
Yeah.
They are, aren't they? Gosh, yeah.
Might be a storm coming.
I didn't recognise you at first.
No, no one
New
does.
image?
I'm in disguise.
Right.
Ingrid. This is yours, Ingrid. Get your post, Ingrid.
I've got the hat on, well, the western red cedar. This was a very important tree to the indigenous people of Pacific Northwest coast from Oregon to southeast Alaska. It was used for canoes, totem poles and other. Almost everything. Yeah.
There is a canoe story if you want the canoe
Come
story.
on. Yep. Come on,
Yeah,
Robert.
well, so the North American Indians did make giant canoes. They're called monoxyla, so I guess that means from one trunk. The canoe made from one trunk. But an English explorer managed to acquire one, I hope by honest means. And he put a sail in it and sailed it all the way to London from North America.
God.
Wow.
Oh, I hope that's true.
It's good. I believe it's
Wikipedia.
Yeah, wiki rumour. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Robert. It's a very tall tree with red bark. You can see the red bark. It's very long-lived. Some live to over 1,000 years if they're not made into canoes and totem poles. And the oldest is verified at 1,260 years old. Height up to 7 metres, and its trunk can be up to 4 metres, so quite big. The leaves, when crushed, smell of pineapples. Who's got the pair of scissors? It's Robert.
I have. I'm in charge of cutting trees today. Okay, who wants to sniff pineapple? Have a sniff. And pass it on.
Just don't ever give Ingrid a chainsaw.
What do you mean?
It's fragrant. I wouldn't quite say pineapple, but
Now,
herbal.
the red bark,
It does a bit.
remove the tree from the tree.
It's like something else mixed with it, though, isn't it? It's like a herbal thing as well.
But this does sometimes skin it. Compare the different leaves of the conifer, that's quite useful. And also that is, I've put on a guide of centimetres and inches if you want to get an idea of how long things are or short things.
late 1860s. I think it's more recent than that. Of course, it must be at least 40, 50 years old.
And it's got knees.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so if you want to see knees, Seven Park's your place.
Yeah, knees and beer bunnies.
Knees and beer bunnies.
Liz is taking us on to
Yeah, we call it sellotape tree. Yes, they grow in the Himal, but I don't know if that's right.
It's got a bit of a thing on this one on the other side, and on that.
yes.
Let's see if Paul knows. I've got the book here.
Oh, you've got the book.
Yes, I have.
Oh,
It's Prunus.
Prunus, it's a Prunus. It's a Prunus what?
Yeah, it's a cherry.
It's a cherry.
Yeah.
But what sort of cherry? Come on, we're being...
That's just
Got it here.
But I don't know if that's right.
It's got a bit of a thing on this one on the other side, and on that.
Yes.
Satin ribbon cherry. Satin ribbon cherry, that's my guess.
Himalaya
So,
forest.
we're going to call it a Tibetan cherry if that's okay.
That's alright.
There are a few with possible sort of that sort of style of bark. Schmidt's cherry or Tibetan cherry.
I've seen it in the
Prunus cerula. Yeah, I think it is Prunus cerula. That's what we saw in the Himalayas.
when there's like a sunset here, it's almost identical to that part.
We call it sellotape tree.
Chestnut garden hybrid between the common European horse chestnut and the red buckeye from the southeast of the USA. It's quite commonly planted, but some people consider it inferior to other parent species because it suffers from a canker. So we hope it doesn't catch the canker from next door. But it does have a lovely red. Flowers are pink with red blotches in cones or candles up to 20 centimetres. Dave's supposed to plant this one to replace it. I think it is.
They're not necessarily very long lived.
No. The leaves are obviously like a horse chestnut, and the conker has fewer spines on it than the classic English horse chestnut.
It's also useless for conkers, I believe.
Yes,
they're very soft.
They're soft and
yeah.
they're not very. They don't shine. They're not like conkers. Any stories, Robert?
No.
Yeah.
Next one.
Origin unknown, but probably probably came from Germany in the early 19th century. Next tree, we've got a story in the next tree.
So you're very lucky with this one because you've got a big one and a small one.
Colonel Henry Bunbury, who was a friend of Sir Joseph Hooker, director of Kew from 1865 to 1885, he planted the seeds in his family's Suffolk garden. Its height goes up to about 30 metres and it's broadly columnar. I don't know if it probably gives us a measurement.
What do you know if the nuts on this are edible? You know, like a sweet chestnut or what?
They are. Robert's got a little story about edibility of it.
It's called a horse chestnut.
They are indeed. They're ground down and they make flour with them. They're used for making chapati.
Doesn't the word horse mean that it's not the edible type usually?
It's an Indian horse chestnut.
Right.
We've added. I think the horse chestnut was the European sort.
Right.
This is from India.
What makes
can
the
eat
flower
Indian
the leaf?
No, the conker.
No, the conkers.
Oh,
The
conkers.
seeds.
And the fruit, this smooth leathery husk containing a glossy blackish brown wrinkled chestnut, which is slightly smaller than the conker. So that's it, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
But smaller than a... The other,
That looks
the other thing my
yellowish,
card
doesn't it?
says, which I can bear witness to because I came before it came out, the buds are really... Please don't...
There as well.
Oh, ignore. Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Oh, hang on, let's look at the map.
Map's right.
Map.
This is number 17.
It says it's Crataegus frugivora, and that's it. They're all Crataegus. This is
Okay.
a group of
They're all
Crataegus.
Crataegus.
Which
This
one?
is correct. This is number 17.
So number 17 is a broad-leaved cockspur thorn.
Yeah.
It's a North American thorn. First came to Britain in 1797, and it's frequently found in park streets and gardens. It's very broad and twiggily dome-shaped. Height and spread up to 9 metres high, and times 11 metres. That can't be true. This is Paul Scarlet, Crataegus oxy. So
Yeah.
ignore the numbers on here. I've obviously got it wrong. And this is number 18. It's the Midland hawthorn, and there's a I think, but I'm not 100% sure. There's another Midland hawthorn behind the gate over there in the Prince's Park Mansion Gardens, just by the gate. So if you want to see a big version of this, you go over there and look at the gate. You'll see. But its history is said to have sprung from the staff of Joseph of Arimathea, planted on Christmas Day at Glastonbury in front of a sceptical heathen congregation.
And it's supposed to bloom once on Christmas Day, isn't it? Every
Bloomed
year.
on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Snapped it off, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right. Very sceptical. First appeared in Britain. It was found in a Herefordshire garden in the 1850s. It grows best in ancient woods and old bridges on clay and shade in southeast England. So maybe it will do so well. Not any of them. According to the appearance, it says it's bushy shaped in the wild.
And it is an ornamental tree tolerant of urban conditions. So it should do well.
Crataegus Cruscali.
It's got a dome-shaped crown. Yep, that's it. Crataegus
the cockspur thorn.
Height is 8 metres. Height and spread 6 metres. So it's sort of like the other one. It goes up and it goes out.
So those two are going to collide at some point.
They're going to make a wonderful join of different sorts
Yeah.
of...
Yeah.
Different
It
berries.
has greyish, smoothish bark,
Yes.
and the leaves are completely hairless, and then from the first, and very glossy, and they turn bright orange in autumn, so that would be lovely. That's it, all spreading out beautifully, and the red berries and the leaves look lovely. It should be really beautiful. It is mountain ash. And apparently the name Rowan comes from the runes, the Norse alphabet for carving. And it was also planted in ancient times to ward off witchcraft. Grow very large. Oh, that's one. It can grow very high up. So it can,
High altitude.
in Scotland it can grow up to 1,000 metres.
Yeah.
1,000.
And edulous
For the
means
deers.
the edible variety, doesn't it? Edulous?
Edibellis.
Edulous.
Is this the Edibellis one?
This is Saurus acuifolia.
Is this the Edibellis?
Edulous.
Edulus. This is the one you can eat.
Yeah.
Masses of striking scarlet berries, fruit, popular with birds,
What number is this?
Rowan jelly.
Dave would say that, wouldn't he? I think there's two differences.
This is 20, yeah.
Unless we've missed one.
No, this is 20.
There are other roads. I think
Right.
quite common in the streets.
Yeah.
And it is an ornamental ornamental tree tolerant of urban conditions, a dome-shaped crown of spreading, twisting branches, and it's 20 metres by 18 metres when it's, fully grown. And the leaves are oak-shaped. Doesn't look oak-shaped at all to me. Sessile oak-shaped. And it has white flowers. Look, there it is.
Very infrequently,
This is the Japanese Rowan. And it originates from Korea, Japan, and some other place I can't know. And it first appeared in Britain in 1906. So it's upright when young, and the older trees open out. And it's got, it goes up to 16 metres by 15 metres, so obviously it spreads out a lot. Far. With pale brown lenticels, what are they?
They are breathing cords.
Oh right, jolly fine. Are those, what you can see there?
They're corky breathing cords.
The leaves are glossy green, but in autumn they're stunning yellow, scarlet, crimson and purple.
Oh, wow.
So that should be lovely.
Colour one.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Oh, look at
You
that.
can see
That's
how
going to look good in
widespread
the
it
autumn.
is.
Yep,
Yeah.
it'll be lovely.
Should bring the birds in.
Indeed.
Okay.
The buds are lovely, aren't they?
It's named after a man who is an important American dendrologist. What's that?
Tree expert.
Tree expert.
First director of the Harvard University's Arnold Arboretum in Boston. He had a number of trees named after him, and he was influential in getting a number of national parks protected in the USA. It comes from southwest Sichuan and north Yunnan province in China, and it grows at altitudes of 2,000 to 3,200 metres, so very, very high up in the mountains.
He thinks it's too
No
hot.
idea when it first appeared in Britain, but it grows from up to 16 metres tall, and it has pinnate leaves. So I imagine, is that the same as the other round leaves?
It is, yeah.
And again it turns a wonderful orange-red in autumn, and it has little white flowers, and the fruit is small red in little clusters. They're very juicy and they're enjoyed by thrushes. But not waxing out, isn't it?
I think we'll come back in a month.
Yes.
It's
But only the leaves at the end of the branches.
overall.
Overall. So that's
Interesting. And then there's cluster of flower pits as well.
I don't know who Vilmorin was. We've got nothing about Vilmorin. But the tree also comes from Yunnan in West China. So it's coming from the same sort of place. And it first appeared in Britain in 1904. Don't know how precise that is. It's not very frequent, you don't find it very often, it's just in gardens and a few parks. It's rare elsewhere. It's got very fine leaves, much smaller than the other ones. It's dainty, fern-leaf Rowan, a broad tree on a trained stem, but it can be bushy. And the shoots have got rusty hairs. Shoots have rusty hairs. So my card says, but I can't see them. There are little white spots all over them.
Bit late.
Are you sure this isn't that and that isn't this?
Yeah.
You sure, yeah?
Pretty sure.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I'm pretty sure. Because this is dainty.
It is dainty, yes, certainly.
It is
By,
dainty.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that
Yeah.
very dainty?
Lovely.
Oh, it's not as much.
The round tip leaves, they're dark green
There's a picture of that one. Have
They
you got the?
unfold pale brown tone. They get a lovely autumn colour, this one. It's
Oh,
really
right.
deep red
Yeah.
and purple in the autumn.
Good, thanks.
And the flowers, which haven't quite come out, are on slender stalks and they're white. Pale pink. Yeah, the fruit starts as deep maroon and ripens, it turns pink. So it's just bizarre, isn't it? Like, cedar. And this one you can make cider out of this one. Oh,
Cider.
a cider-like drink.
Lost
in
its
parts of
label.
Europe. The fruit, it's astringent and gritty but sweet when overripe. It's called a service tree as well. And it's also
right.
a sorbus. It originates from the mountain slopes of Southwest Asia, Eastern and Southern Europe and the Atlas Mountains. So quite a wide range really.
Does it say the height it will be? Because it's
The height up to
pretty
20
tall
metres,
already.
broadly columnar, and it grows in shrub-like form on exposed sites.
Yeah.
it's grown up.
First appeared in Britain, they don't know exactly when, but it was once considered native due to one very old tree in the Wire forest, now thought to be from a medieval monastery orchard. And it's very rare, despite being called Sorbus domestica. And maybe it's rare in the UK and
Yeah, I think
common in Europe. And
Tree leaflet and everything. You haven't got an extra tree leaflet, have you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give them one.
Yeah. I'll tell Robbie. Yeah, we've got
Oh, right.
those are the identification of the trees that are planted in the autumn.
Yeah.
And new lentils helped with and stuff. And so we're walking around and just
it first appeared in Britain in 1820. It's the hardiest of the acacias,
Yeah.
frequently in the mildest areas. Frequent in the mildest areas, Ireland, Cornwall, inner London. It may not do so well. Cut to ground in very hard winters in southeast England, but regrowing with huge vigour. It is easily blown down. Did someone say that?
Yes.
Its appearance is often conical with tilted wispy tip and light limbs, sometimes broad and leaning with sinuous branches. It grows to 23 metres
Yeah.
Wow.
tall and 18 metres wide.
Yeah.
So if it takes off, it'll fill this space.
Let's hope it doesn't get
Take-
that big
take off
when it blows
completely.
down.
Don't tell the council.
don't tell the school.
Yeah, I think we're too far north for it to really manage.
The leaves, as you can see, are feathery. The flowers are creamy buds that stand above the foliage from autumn and open from late winter. So it flowers in the autumn.
So any time you come in and out of this gate, give
It's
the
a hug.
mimosa a hug.
Maybe wait for it to grow a little bit.
One over there. Someone's
cut that, haven't they?
Yep.
Pair them.
Looks like.
I don't know how they would get in.
Weeping willow.
No one's done it. The wind, the trees move. It's worn it away.
I doubt it. They're pretty tough, those things, you know.
So this is S. Babylon.
Someone's had a go, I think, with a knife. No, well, they've got knives, long knives.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
And it comes from Berlin. So my card tells me. The person who crossed it did it in Berlin. And it first appeared in Britain in 1888. It's abundant in warm areas. Not and it's bigger and tricolour than the golden willow. It's not bad.
Yeah. There.
When they're big.
Both waving in the wind.
Yellow, grey, green. Sorry, I'm reading this. It only grows odd female catkins because it's infertile. Poor thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a male clone
clone.
of a tree. So they clone the trees and it doesn't breed.
Yeah.
So we'll never have baby little golden
No,
weeping
no
willows.
seed.
Well, but it's a hybrid.
True.
Carving and mouldings, furniture, veneers. Also for pencils, that would seem a bit of a waste. Cigar boxes, and also traditional Japanese shoes.
Wow.
That means
Good
the
heavens.
flats,
Clogs
the
or-
wooden, well, maybe not clogs, but maybe the flat sandals.
Oh, the sandals.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Platform sandals.
First appeared in Britain in 1865. It's not very common, infrequent, but it is in lots of landscape gardens. Can be mini trunks, though sometimes single. I guess this is almost certainly going to be single. Well, maybe not, maybe it's going to spread out there. It goes up to 30 metres high, so it's going to be big.
Wow.
It's supposed to have prominent pairs of opposite buds, which are shiny dark brown. And
Nothing yet.
Opposite, yeah.
There's, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's that looks like there's two very small ones there. On the end there.
Very small.
I wouldn't say they were prominent. It's supposed to have very, very good autumn colour. So we have one leaf.
You just have to come back in yeah.
This is a sweet gum, liquid amber styraciflua. Liquid amber is a pretty good name. Frequently called the American single. Doesn't seem to be such a good name. Quite an early arrival in Britain, came in 1681, and now quite a frequent garden tree in warmer areas. Shaped stiffly conical.
Fantastic.
Splendid autumn colours, lemon yellows, crimson, saturated purples. And then the fruit are little spiky balls which will hang down all through the winter, so it's like a plane tree or something, little spiky balls. Walk around and talk about, but we've only got to number 30 out of at least 60.
So there's a plan to do
I'm planning another tree wall, 22nd of June.
Are we planning to do 31 to 60 on that?
That's the, yeah, I guess so. And what we'll need to do is make more cards. So we have had little evenings, or if anybody's interested in doing a card next, or a card or two,